This is our 1-on-1 or 1-on-2, closeout, gap, and then contain drill. The player starts with the ball on the baseline on the seam. The other offensive player will be on the wing 45. Up the top, we have a coach who is simulating being the other player. As we've built up the drill, the player starting with the ball will pass the ball and then follow with a closeout, which we have talked about: high hand, spear hand, deflection hand, and chopping of the feet. After a 2 count, the player will then pass the ball to the coach. On air time, which is the movement of the ball during the air, player 2 will turn and sprint to the gap. What needs to happen is the player's hip is facing the ball, so they still have a one-way closeout to their own player. Once the coach is happy with the gap position, the ball will then be passed back to the player number 1. On airtime, player number 2 will also move on airtime, sprinting to the spot to play D and close out. From here, player number 1 can attack and player number 2 has to try and contain the ball. We will give them a dribble limit and also 1 shot and done. Once the player number 2 has completed their defensive possession, they will then rotate up and become the offensive player, and new defensive players can come in.